The story starts and we see Riley's father barged in and, in a panic, took her away. The woman's name was Cynthia, an experienced psychiatrist. She claimed that she could dive into the subconscious minds of her patients to understand and treat the deep-seated fears and mental illnesses hidden within. Riley had just been taken away. She had come to Cynthia seeking help, but Cynthia believed that a very dangerous force resided within that girl, something no ordinary person could handle. Cynthia's husband had lost his life while fighting a similar force. Because of that fear, Cynthia refused to get involved in the matter. However, Cynthia's daughter Jordan thought very differently from her mother. She didn't feel it was right to ignore the situation. When her mother flatly refused to help, Jordan stormed out of the house in anger. The next day, Jordan quietly arrived at Riley's house. She knocked on the door, but there was no response. It felt like Riley had been locked in a basement. Suspicious, Jordan managed to sneak inside the house and started searching for Riley. She opened a door only to find a closet, but then she noticed another door that was locked. Jordan found a screwdriver and broke the lock. As soon as she opened the door, a dark and terrifying basement appeared before her. Despite her fear, she went down. The darkness frightened her a bit. She was about to call her mother when Riley suddenly emerged from behind a door. When Jordan regained consciousness, she found herself locked in with a strange, scary, and distorted-faced woman. Meanwhile, Riley's father, who was dangerous and cunning, was there, and his next target was Jordan. At his command, Riley stood holding Jordan captive. The father snatched Jordan's phone, sent a message to Cynthia saying Jordan was at her friend's house, and then broke the phone. After that, he began preparing to flee with Riley. But before leaving, Riley quietly whispered that she was only doing it to protect Jordan, that she didn't want an innocent life to be sacrificed. Jordan then freed herself and the other woman as well. But as soon as they tried to escape, they came face to face with the man holding a gun. Riley immediately stood in front of Jordan and pleaded with her father not to take any wrong step. But just then, the captive woman suddenly went wild and lunged at the man. In the struggle, the gun accidentally went off. Riley couldn't hold on any longer. She collapsed to the ground. Suddenly, Jordan started hearing terrifying noises in her ears. The next moment, a frightening dark shadow was standing in front of her. In reality, after Riley's death, the evil spirit that had been hiding in her body was now looking for a new host, and Jordan was the perfect medium. Panicked, Jordan somehow ran out of the house. Just then, she saw her mother Cynthia arriving. Jordan ran to her, held her tightly, and broke down crying. Meanwhile, the man escaped in his car. The next day, the police recovered partially burned human remains from the basement of his house. It became clear that Jordan wasn't his only victim. The police were still actively searching for that man. Meanwhile, the police also tried to gather full details from Jordan. But as soon as she returned home, she pleaded with her mother for help again. Cynthia was still afraid. Her husband's death still haunted her. But this time, it was about her daughter. Even if it cost her life, she was ready to do anything. She called her old friend Agathon, who was an expert in spiritual matters. Cynthia instructed her that if anything went wrong, she must immediately bring Jordan back to this world. As night fell, Cynthia placed 2 fingers between Jordan's eyes and began chanting a mantra. Soon she entered Jordan's inner world. She found herself in front of an old house. A small girl was sitting by the door, an image of Jordan's childhood. Cynthia stepped inside the house. Advertisements gripped the walls on all sides. It felt as if an evil spirit was hiding in that very house. The next moment, that spirit appeared. A powerful slap landed on Cynthia's face, causing her to lose consciousness. It was now clear that the spirit was far more powerful than Cynthia. But science does not belong to those who give up easily. Investigations began, and soon it was discovered that the man's wife had also once been afflicted by the same spirit, but she had died just a month ago. The scientist met the doctor who had treated that woman. The doctor revealed that this was the first such case in his 40-year career. The woman had lost all her teeth, and her body had started decaying gradually. Before dying, she had been uttering strange and bizarre things. The doctor admitted that the condition had defied all the boundaries of science. Meanwhile, Jordan was sleeping. She had a terrifying dream in which she was in an old house. Creepers had spread all around, and there was a staircase leading to the attic. Strange and scary noises were coming from above. Suddenly, someone slapped her, and Jordan woke up from her sleep, utterly terrified. But just then, the door to her room slowly began to open on its own. Instead of panicking, Jordan slowly moved forward to see what was happening, but she didn't realize that a dreadful shadow was following her. As soon as she reached the kitchen, a hand suddenly appeared in front of her. Meanwhile, when Cynthia returned home, she found her friend Agatha unconscious on the floor, and Jordan was nowhere to be seen. Cynthia immediately informed the police. The police assured her that they would find Jordan soon, but at that moment, Jordan was with that man in a desolate forest, where he had locked her inside a large coffin-like box. When Jordan regained consciousness, she started screaming and trying to get out. After a great struggle, she managed to open the lid, but standing in front of her was the same man with the shovel in his hand. He closed the box again and buried it in the ground. Meanwhile, Cynthia was sitting at the police station, constantly wondering when some news would come. Just then, news arrived that the man had turned himself in at the police station. Cynthia pleaded with him to reveal Jordan's location, but he remained silent. Left with no other option, Cynthia asked the police for permission to speak with him alone. Actually, along with being an experienced psychiatrist, Cynthia was also a telepathic medium. She wanted to enter his mind and find out where Jordan was. After some hesitation, the police granted her permission. Cynthia meditated and entered his consciousness. His mind was full of fear, pain, and darkness. But after going deeper, Cynthia finally saw a vision of a forest. That was where Jordan had been buried alive. But the forest was so vast that finding Jordan felt like looking for a needle in a haystack. On the other side, Jordan was trapped in that coffin, with the same demonic shadow sitting on top of her, trying to completely consume her. Her condition had deteriorated so badly that she started gasping for breath, out of fear. Just then, Cynthia arrived at that part of the forest. She remembered a mark she had seen in the man's mind. She turned the vehicle in that direction. The police jeep followed closely behind. But the emotional bond between mother and daughter was so strong that Cynthia soon reached the exact spot where Jordan had been buried alive. Both of them were extremely weak. Just then, the sound of police sirens could be heard. Cynthia knew that the most important thing now was to drive out the demon hiding inside Jordan's body. She once again placed her fingers between Jordan's brows and entered her soul. She found herself once again in front of the old house where Jordan's childhood was waiting. This time, Cynthia held a lantern in her hand, and Jordan was sitting in front of the house's door. Gathering courage for her daughter, Cynthia stepped inside and climbed to the second floor using a wooden staircase. As soon as she reached the top, tears began to flow from her eyes. Once again, she saw the scene of her husband's suicide, her deepest vulnerability. Suddenly, she sensed someone hiding in the dark corner. The demon appeared and started strangling Cynthia. She immediately placed her finger on its forehead and chanted a mantra. Instantly, she entered the demon's past life memories. There, she found herself in a cave. She held a sword and moved forward toward a space filled with red light, where a terrifying demon was sitting on a throne. As the demon moved towards Cynthia, she heard someone calling her. It was the police calling her in the real world. In a flash, the demon disappeared, and vines entangled Cynthia. At that moment, Jordan gathered her courage and arrived. She saw her mother trapped badly. It was as if fear had taken control of her. In the demon's inner world, Cynthia had fallen to the ground, and the demon was overpowering her. Just then, Jordan acted. She freed Cynthia from the vines, and together they fought the demon. In the end, they destroyed it. After the fight was over, mother and daughter hugged each other and cried. With this, the story ends here. Let me know your thoughts and also suggest which movie I should recap.